Good evening. Shri Jayesh Ranjan, absolutely inspiring, sir, what you said. The government's support to the IT industry here is well known. And I just want to thank you and the government of Telangana for consistently supporting the cause of IT and related industries. I want to thank you for this. Shri Ram Prasad, Mr. Bharani, my industry colleagues, members from the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor to be with all of you on this occasion when HYSIA has just completed about 30 years, and this is the 29th HYSIA Annual Day celebrations. And I must also thank Mr. Bharani for inviting me to this function. And I must confess that I accepted it with some amount of trepidation to speak amongst the cream de la cream of the industry and the growth and the diversity of the IT industry in Hyderabad. Coming to Hyderabad is always stimulating for me. I still remember, sir, when Cyberabad was bare land. We came, I personally came with the Swiss architect Mario Botta to construct our building, which was at that particular point in time the largest building that we had in TCS. And we have since then grown a lot. Hyderabad as a city is, it has its charm. It has a lot of tradition. It has skillful artisans who have their own way of building a guild. And we have the beautiful lake, Hussain Sagar. And I also, the city has, over a period of time, has attracted the best of talent, the best of companies across the world, both Indian as well as multinational companies. And they all do some extraordinary piece of work, not just technology and operations. And I'm proud to see that there is a phenomenal amount of product development happens, research and development happens. A number of patents get filed. And I have no doubt, given the environment that I am seeing from my perspective, the intellectual property that's going to get created out of Hyderabad is going to be second to none, and it's only going to be on the increase. From a TCS perspective, I think, we have been here long enough. We are currently about 64,000 plus employees and growing. Very early days, we set up a systems and cybernetics engineering center in Hyderabad. And more recently, we housed the FC Kohli Center for Intelligent Systems here. So whenever I'm in Hyderabad, I could feel the breath of fresh air, an air of curiosity, some original thinking, and above all, a can-do attitude of people at large that is quite refreshing. So over the next 15 minutes or so, what I will try to cover is more than covering, I think I would like to share my perspectives on what I see in the world of IT, what I hear from our clients, and what is the path that they are laying for themselves, and what does it mean for us as an industry. Is there something that we can change? Is there a different perspective that we can bring in to this particular world? So to begin with, let me talk about the economic and industry environment briefly. See, last January, we all know that we are still in the pandemic world. We had a very mild, compared to the wave 2, we had a mild, just finished about the wave 1 of the pandemic. And then we saw the vaccination program from the government, and it was coming, and we were all waiting for it. And we thought that normalcy is around the corner. And then the wave 2 came, and it was quite sharp. And the impact for us as an industry, as a country, as a society was quite severe. And many lost their lives. For the industry, along with the government, I think we all rose to the occasion, individually and collectively, to support the community that we serve. New hospitals came in. Several of our development centers converted into COVID care centers. We invested in oxygen plants, ventilators, and supported the medical fraternity and the frontline workers at large as a true spirit of Indianness. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you, compliment all of you and the government for rising to that occasion and prioritizing people's safety and be meaningful to the society at large. India seemed to have recovered from that, and we seem to be in a okay situation at this point in time. Everything around us seemed to be under control. We are having physical events like this. Airports seem to be pretty normal. Whether it's international flights or domestic flights seem to be going full. So people have realized the fact that the onus is on them, onus is on each one of us to take adequate precautions and keep the economy going and keep the normalcy going. But having said that, the Omicron is around. Many nations are taking steps, and I'm sure that India will have to take some steps so that the intensity of the variants is not highly impacting the society. So the normalcy right now depends on how Omicron is going to affect the world at large and India more specifically, and the efficacy of the vaccines and the booster shots. If you look at financial year 1920, it was a big impact for many of us. Most businesses got affected. The 2021 was a kind of a year of resilience. We all rallied behind each other. Then we proved ourselves. It was a year of resilience. But at the same time, businesses started to grow. Uptick was there, seen. And most businesses faced supply chain bottlenecks. Many of our customers faced it. Energy prices are rising, and all this means that it's quite likely that the inflation will inch up. And we are seeing that already, and it is likely to continue at least for the good part of 2022. At least that's what many economists feel, and many in the government also feel, that the inflation is going to be inching up based on these factors and the consumption patterns that one sees. From an IT industry perspective, I think there is a very strong demand environment, no doubt about it. And the recovery of the IT industry is seen, and almost every organization, whether you are in the services side of it, startups, or the product side of it, are consuming technology in an unprecedented velocity. That's something that we see. That augurs well for India as a country. That augurs well for the youth of India. There is a huge number of people that we are expecting to come out of their colleges every year. And over the next 3-4 years, I think that demand environment is likely to stay like this. And we called that out fairly early, as TCS, saying that, look, we are going to see an unprecedented demand, unprecedented consumption of digital technology across the world. So on this backdrop, let me speak a little bit about the IT industry, and I know that I'll probably be carrying coal to Newcastle here. As an industry, we have earned the respect of global corporations. Not only global corporations, I think public institutions and the governments across the globe, they respect the industry that we have created in India. They respect the talent pool that we have, and most of them rely on the Indian talent that we have here or elsewhere to grow and be relevant to their customer base. We pursued quality as a competitive strategy way back. And along with time to market and cost, we have been a significant value creator for our clients across the globe. We continue to be part of their growth and transformation agenda. For example, many of us, many companies here and elsewhere, we are working with the pharmaceutical companies across the globe for their drug discovery, including vaccines, and help them go through the compliance aspects of clinical trials and taking to the market the products as speedily as possible. We are working with several auto majors and OEMs in their pursuits towards autonomous and electric vehicles. We are helping global financial institutions launch neobanks with purpose-driven digital products and solutions, embedding touchless, contactless, invisible banking services. The financial district here is the location of choice for many global financial institutions, including our own ICICI. They all leverage talent from this part of the world for variety of work, be it technology or operations, including proximity to the startup ecosystem, T-Hub. The list goes on, right? And these are all not small efforts. I think we have made ourselves extremely relevant. We have kept ourselves continuously upskilled, have adopted processes and technologies to stay relevant as we traversed the journey over several decades. So let me look at from a client and prospects perspective. Based on my interactions with a number of our clients, CXOs, CIOs, I've noticed a few trends, which I thought that I'll outline here. Many of them want to balance innovation and optimization. Everybody is invested heavily on digital. For them, digital innovation, interactiveness, instantaneousness, I think they are a bit tired. But they also see that it is very essential. They also see that optimization has to continue. So most of them whom I talked to in the last few months, they all feel that innovation is important, but optimization is even more important, given the environment in which we are operating. Cloud adoption and cloud transformation is certainly a very, very important item. Most of our clients, they adopted cloud initially for the infrastructure. They all felt that, look, yes, I'm going to adopt it. I'm going to move everything to the cloud. When they moved infrastructure to the cloud, it was very easy for them. And they could actually see that it has quickly become a shareable asset. They could connect to the infrastructure from everywhere. And then they went through the process of moving the applications into the infrastructure, and then applications become a shareable asset. So they realized that now that applications are there, now they are seeing that data has become a shareable asset. So the fact that infrastructure, applications, and data all have become a shareable asset, they are now rethinking how the systems have to be architected. What does cloud nativity means? What does cloud interoperability means? And how do I quickly make myself available or make my technology speak to somebody else fairly quickly? So the cloud adoption and cloud transformation is going to be there for, in my opinion, a few years, or at least I see a 10-year ahead lap. Because whatever they have accomplished in their own experience, in their own organizations across the globe, is probably minuscule. Probably 5%, 6% of their applications is what probably have moved to the cloud. There is so much headroom left for us. So I see cloud as an important element of growth for all of us. And the fact that we need to do more. A lot of us have created methodologies, toolkits, etc. But then that's not enough. The third part is, I think, algorithms and intelligent operations or intelligent automation, right? Many have adopted automation in a big way, and most believe that automation is the key for their success during this pandemic period. It has helped them to manage the peaks of transaction load and also help them in many ways to expand their own operations or consolidate operations from one location to the other location and so on. And I also feel that the automation has led to new ways of structuring businesses, and I will probably talk a little bit more about it later as a part of our response, what we think that we should respond. More importantly, the next trend that I see and what I hear from my customers, their own new product development has significantly changed. The process that they adopt has significantly changed. What I mean by that, for example, if you take a car to be developed, they used to follow a process of left to right. What are the features I need to load in that car? And for this particular segment, I think these cars are important. In this particular segment, already these cars are available, these cars have these features, so I need to do more than what they need or what they have. So they load the features, and then they go through a design, and then they go through a a cost element and then see what can be cut, how it can be optimized, and then price it, and then launch it, and then people experience it. Now, when you do that, sometimes the cars become successful, or sometimes the cars are not accepted very well in the marketplace. Now, most of them are going through a process of what they told me as right to left, which essentially means that, no, I want to develop a car, then I'm going to talk to the guys who are going to be using that car. What is the experience that they want to have while driving that car? What is the experience that they want to have while buying that car? What is the experience that they want to have as a post-service? And then start from there, work backwards. And then you figure out that not all features that you originally thought that is really required, because they don't need those features. They don't need all those features. For them, what is required is this. So it's the process is really one from right to left, as opposed to left to right. In that context, experiential design is going to be very important for all of us, and I will talk a little bit more about it. I think lastly, security, data privacy, cyber, ransomware attacks, fraud, they're all high on their angst agenda. Okay. Irrespective of what you do, what we operate in, however successful we have been in operating remotely, this particular aspect of angst is still not fully resolved, is not fully out of their mind. So given this backdrop of what I've heard from the customers and what likely to be the operating model or focus areas or priorities for them, what is it that we all need to do, or what are the opportunities that we have as industry players? I think the first one I will say is artificial intelligence is for real. I'm still a software engineer at heart, having spent close to about 40 years in the industry. And I have this habit of really figuring out when a new technology comes. The best way to figure out is you learn it, you actually program with it, you figure out what it means. So I did learn to write algorithms. Then I truly believe that the artificial intelligence is for real, and today, by creating a number of algorithms and then connecting it, I could create a cobot for myself. The beauty of that cobot is that it learns from me. It learns how I do certain things. And the onus is on me to make sure that the cobot is behaving responsibly, all of it. And the beauty of it is that the knowledge of NGS as a professional can actually stay with the organization even if I leave my organization. So I do believe that the artificial intelligence is for real. And based on my own experience of having developed my cobot, I believe for 30 to 50%, you pick the number, 30 to 50% of what we do today as an IT services player in a system development lifecycle, 30 to 50%, you pick up the number, I will go even further, will not be required to be done by a human. The opportunity is there. It's up to us to embrace it if we want to embrace it. And the potential, when you put something like that, is huge. It will create a huge momentum, huge velocity, huge productivity, and reliability. And I am a true believer in concluding that artificial intelligence is for real. And I concluded that design and empathy are for the humans. Rest all can be algorithms. That's the potential and power of that technology. So when you do all of it, the second thing is that we need to master, I think Bharani mentioned about productization of our services. I think we need to master the art of SaaS, anything as a service. How do you price it? How do you price services in a consumption-based model? Several of our products and services that we offer are currently ripe for disruption. And I would encourage us to disrupt it ourselves rather than somebody else comes and disrupts it. And by disruption, I mean that, for example, if certain parts of what we do as a company or as a professional, if it needs to be priced, currently we are pricing it per day, per hour, per whatever it is. But how do I convert it as a shared service? How do I charge it on a consumption-driven model? Is an area that I think we have to learn and we have to work on that. And given the right to left shift that's happening, I truly believe technology skills alone are not sufficient. I believe that the industry will need to adopt several skill sets, like behavioral sciences, psychology, design and user experience is one we are scratching the surface right now, accessibility, sustainability, toxicology. Many of these skill sets are going to be absolutely required at the very early stages of any system development lifecycle activities that we will all be doing. And the onus is also on us to develop architectures, design patterns, which are highly scalable. But if you look at most of our clients, they all want to become a technology company. Why do they want to become a technology company? Because they like the startups. They like the platforms. They like the fact that they are able to address 1 billion people as their customer base when you put a platform on the cloud. They would like to have the similar capability and capacity. So we can't look at it from, okay, I'm also developing a software, but it's very important to develop architectures which are modern, which are cloud native, cloud interoperative, and highly scalable, and give customers the opportunity to target 1 billion plus people as their customers. The next one which I will look at is what I call as teams of the future. Not the Microsoft Teams collaboration tool, but today we staff every project by roles. This role requires this person. Person by person we are staffing. The future, I believe, is going to be one of staffing the teams. We need to have teams at that agile teams. Those agile teams will build a specialization of themselves, will build knowledge of themselves. They will have their own chemistry. As a team that they will be able to start square one and jump to square 5 and square 30 and get the job done quickly. The future is going to be like, okay, I need 10 agile teams. And those agile teams, again, today, people may ask for their capacity, we still end up staffing them one by one. But our processes and methodologies and the internal ways of doing business is likely to undergo a massive change in terms of creating cohesive teams who will work together well, who knows that context in which that particular project is to be developed, and deliver that with a lot of speed and alacrity. The next one I'll say is digital and data. I already talked about it. I think digital and data is going to be there for the next foreseeable future. Next 10 years, it will keep on maturing. What we have accomplished is probably very little. We have certain frameworks, certain algorithms, certain tools, but then the power of data, starting with our own data as a company, is going to be huge. 5G is another technology. 5G is advancing and 6G is already on the work. I think every product that we see in the marketplace today will learn to communicate with other product. Every product, that machine-to-machine interaction, machine-to-machine communication, it's nothing new. It's been on the talks for quite some time. In some advanced countries, I have seen that already operating. But it will achieve a degree of scale which will be unprecedented. In 3GPP and 1M, 2M, we have defined a set of standards for machine-to-machine interaction. And what does that mean is, we all know, we have heard about system of records and system of experience. When products communicate with each other and algorithms at play, you have the opportunity to compute on the edge. When such computing on the edge takes place, people will worry only about the experience, and the computing on the edge can actually feed the transaction data to the system of records. So in a few years' time, I believe that the system of records will be existing, but nobody will be using it. Every transaction that goes into the system of record, I believe will get pumped in as a set of data streams and data feeds, and that will keep on updating the bookings that we need. Yes, you will generate the regulatory reports out of that. Yes, you will generate the balance sheet and profit and losses out of that, but you don't need people to enter anything in the system of records, because everything the services industry will do or customers would want is about systems of experiences, and many of them will be automated at large. The startup ecosystem in India has taken a lot of leaf out, a lot of vibrancy is taking place. It's only a question of time before we hit a series of unicorns from India. And I think, as a services industry, we have the opportunity to work with them more closely, more aggressively, bring the industry perspective to the startups, and embed them into the products and services that we provide to a variety of our customers. I think that will be a big help that we can extend to the startup community. When I talk to the CXOs and some of the younger professionals, one particular common topic that's coming is sustainability and environment. People want to know, what is your commitment to sustainability? And more often than not, I think, I see that our clients would like to understand what is our sustainability agenda. And if you don't have one, it may be a hygiene issue that you will probably miss out. So I think, we need to have a very broader agenda on sustainability. We need to have a broader agenda on environment and ecology. At TCS, I'm pleased to say that we have a goal of becoming net neutral by 2025 and becoming net zero by 2030. And we are approaching it pretty much bottom up. And 4 of our countries where we operate today will become carbon neutral by end of this year, by this 31st of December. Thank you. The supply situation on the skills front in the more recent times is concerning, and we need to reimagine our own people and career proposition. The expectations of the younger generation is quite interesting. I can't wait to work under them. As a manager, I think they'll be the most demanding people that you will ever come across. I recently met with one of the youngsters who joined us as a process of induction. And one of them told me, NGS, that it's great that I get an opportunity to meet with you. But I want to ask you one thing. Do I have the opportunity at TCS to become you in half the time that it took for you to get there? I mean, that's the kind of aspiration that they have. And that struck me, and I think, we need to appreciate that fact, and we need to appreciate the fact that, they have huge aspirations. And the onus is on us to lay the ways by which they can do it. Lastly, I think the industry has been able to operate remotely during the pandemic. And we all have been able to deliver on the promises that we all made to our customers. And I take this opportunity to congratulate each one of the companies, each one of the IT professional, because doing that remotely for a sustained period of time and delivering on each one of the processes is highly commendable. My own perspective on this is the future is going to be hybrid. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but it's very likely that it's going to be hybrid. We have come out as a company and put in place a very bold operating model called 25 by 25, which we believe that 25% of the workforce, if at any point in time is in offices, the rest can actually operate remotely, and still we'll be able to achieve many things that we want to accomplish. But while we are now operating at almost 95% remote, why are you setting up a low bar of 25% is the question that many people ask me. But I think, there is a lot of things that we have to get it right, including compliance aspects, including, some of the regulations that we need to work. We'll have to think through many of the issues that we are facing today, because we're all working remotely, so it doesn't matter where you are located. We all build them from one location, but people are located in multiple locations. So we'll have to see what are the compliance aspects of it, number one. Number two is that our own clients' commitment to this kind of a model is going to be very key. So we believe that we will bring majority of the workforce back to offices, define the whole operating model, integrating the business continuity plan, because to me, work from home or remotely is a business continuity option. When pandemic struck India, none of our business continuity plans worked, because the business continuity plans assumed that people will be available in another country or in another location. But the fact was, people are not available. The locations were available, but people are not available. So the working remotely was the only option. So in that context, that business continuity plans will have to imbibe working remotely as an integral part of that exercise. So ladies and gentlemen, here are what I tried to cover is what I learned from the industry, what I learned from our clients, from my own employees, people. Pleased that I could share some of these insights with you, and I'm still learning. Thank you all very much. Merry Christmas, season's greetings, and best wishes for a new year.